I learned that overeating was the norm. I learned that there was never too much food. I learned that food equals guilt, because if I ever didn't want to eat it, I was letting someone down.
When did it begin? With mother's milk? With childhood comfort? With punishment, pleasure, or control? When did you stop eating to live and started living to eat? Food energetically does a lot for us. It provides our energy, our nutrients. When I started seeing myself as a divine creature, life started mirroring that back. When we start looking at our food as sacred, it's gonna mirror that back to us.
It was never about nourishment. It was about staying full out of fear that one wasn't full enough.
Everything that we are given in life is perfect for a reason. It's for our soul to remember its purpose. Every bite had a story. Every craving had a memory. Food was never just food. It was how I learned to soothe, to hide, to survive. I already told you where we're all going. We're all gonna die. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy life. We're here to experience the beauty. We are on heaven.
People have walked out of this 3-day experience saying that it felt like a plant medicine ceremony without taking a single thing. They've called it life-changing, unreal, the most powerful weekend of their entire life. It's called Awaken Your Highest Self. And for the last 3 years, it's helped thousands of people finally deal with what they've been carrying for decades. The anxiety that they hide, the anger they never speak about, the constant feeling like something's off, but they don't know what. And this isn't about motivation. It's about finally feeling free in your body, your mind, your heart and soul, your life. So you can actually live as the version of yourself you were always meant to live as. And now we're doing it again, live, in person, one last time this year. Space is extremely limited. And once we fill the room, that's it. So if you felt stuck, but you know there's more waiting for you, go to DannyMorel.com/awaken right now or click the link in the show notes to register today. Food is life, and your relationship to food will tell you so much about your relationship to life. That's the focus of this week's episode of The Higher Self. I want to start by saying it's really rare. I've done a lot of work, a lot of ayahuasca, a lot of sitting in a ceremony with mushrooms, a lot of work over the last 6-7 years. And so for me to be moved nowadays, it's kind of rare. And I only say that because, because I've uncovered so much. But something happened at this last weekend where we were at the Inner Circle Wellness Intensive, and my brother, Daniel Ríos, who's the director of all of our communities, gave a talk about food and a meditation about food. I was moved to the point that it took me a day to get over what I experienced, quite frankly, and what came up for me. And I thought it was so powerful that I immediately shared with the group there that I wanted to make it this week's podcast because I think it's going to change your life. I recommend that if you're watching this week, that you maybe sit down, spend some time with yourself. And if you want to make it interactive, go get a piece of seaweed, a small cracker, some cacao nibs, and a piece of dried mango. Matter of fact, go do that. Like, go to the store real fast and then come back and watch it so you can actually participate in the meditation. I think it's going to be really beautiful and very healing for your relationship with food. Enjoy.
So at Awaken, a few Awakens ago, Danny and I started sharing my journey. And so that's me on the left. This is me on the right. And I haven't gone too deep into like my story around the trauma that brought this in my life. But it was a beautiful journey. So I wrote something for y'all called The Food That Made Us. Before you ever took a bite, you were fed through the umbilical thread, the original lifeline, Your mother whispered nutrients into your veins. That was your first communion, your first meal of love. Then came the magic milk, not just food, a language, a bond, a download of her immunity, her story, her strength. Every drop said, you belong here. And when we unlatched from her breast, we reached the next sacred source. The soil, the sun, the rain, the hands of creation itself. Our next great mother, Mother Earth. Her fruit, her grains, her water. She kept the feeding going because that's what mothers do. The food we eat, it's more than what goes in our mouth. It's what makes us, designs us, shapes the chemistry of our thoughts, the pulse of our hearts, the rhythm of our lives. Without it, we die. Too much of it, we died. Bad imbalance, we thrive. Every bite breaks down into a sacred currency of life, ATP. The spark inside each cell, the temple that houses our soul. And so this journey we're about to take together is not just a meditation, but I know you guys all knew that. This is a mirror, a return, a remembering to the story of food, your story of food. When did it begin? With mother's milk? With childhood comfort? With punishment, pleasure, or control? When did you stop eating to live and started living to eat? Because I didn't always have this healthy relationship with food. For a long time, food was my comfort. Food was my control, my confusion. There was moments I ate to fill a void and moments I starved myself to find control inside chaos. I thought discipline meant restriction. I thought fullness meant love. But the truth was, I wasn't feeding my body. I was feeding my pain. Every bite had a story. Every craving had a memory. Food was never just food. It was how I learned to soothe, to hide, to survive. And then came a day, a mirror moment, when I realized the man I saw wasn't the man I truly was. My body was carrying history, my shame, my anger, my fear. And I knew something had to die for something new to live. So I began to fast, not to punish myself, but to listen. When I stopped feeding the noise, I started hearing the truth. And in that silence, food began to reveal its wisdom again. I discovered that every craving was a conversation, every hunger a message, every meal a mirror. Through fasting, through cleansing, through ceremony, I didn't just lose over 100 pounds. I lost the lies that weighed me down. I learned that the same energy that grows fruit from soil can grow purpose from pain. That the same force that turns seed into flower can turn shame into sovereignty. And that's when I remembered food is alive. And when you eat with presence, you come alive with it. Now every bite, every prayer, every meal is a meditation. Every fast is a return to gratitude. And as I share this with you today, I'm not here as a teacher. I'm here as a mirror. Because this isn't just my story. This is our story. 1 degree apart. Different palates, same hunger. Different foods, same search for nourishment. Your problems are my problems. Your cravings are my cravings. Your guilt is my guilt. Different movie, same story. One collective consciousness digesting the same lessons, biting into the same truth. It all begins and ends with what we take in. The milk that made us, the food that sustained us, the chemicals that became our thoughts, the meals that became our memories, and somewhere along the way, we began to change it, to twist the perfection of Earth's design, to make her medicine into poison, to strip her gifts of their soul. But today we come home to remember the food is alive, the food is energy, the food is love made edible. So as we begin this journey together, let's take a breath and let it out. Feel your feet on earth. Let the breath move through your body. And listen, to the wisdom that's been feeding you since before you were born. So thank you guys for being here today. And, we all have our story and our relationship to food. For me, this is me as a baby. And as we all come to this earth, we are perfect. We have everything we need. And we come to whatever culture, society, family we're born into, they start giving us what we need to be successful in this 3D world. But with that, they also give us their shame, their guilt, their fear, all of that, and how they teach us a lot of how we relate to food. So this is me in Oaxaca, just another state south from here. And that's where I was born. I was born into a matriarchy. Like, I never had a meal missing in my life. Like, to this day, I'm like 37 years old, and my aunts are concerned. Like, have you eaten? Especially her. She just passed away like 2 weeks ago. Always like I'm literally eating. She's like, you want more food? And so I always grew up with love. I always grew up with this mother energy. And so it was really, really beautiful. Never in my life have I had hunger. And this is my nuclear family: my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. We grew up, there was a point in oh yeah, don't eat your guys' ingredients, by the way. We're going to connect if I see a note. We left Mexico for better opportunities. And my mom gave my dad an ultimatum too, like, get your shit together, or get your shit together. And so we migrated to the US. And that's when I really started like dealing with all my shit, because my family moved to the US, and I grew up there illegally. So literally I would see a fucking cop car, and like my system would, and my dad worked at this pizza restaurant, Sammy's wood oven pizza. And so we had unlimited pizza and ice cream. It was great. I remember my aunt asked me, she's like, you want to like eat the food that we cooked, or you want pizza? I'm like, I want pizza. It like tastes so good. And I was literally just like making myself feel better with food. Throughout my younger years, it was just pain from not belonging, pain from guilt, from not being where I wasn't supposed to be. So as a little boy, like, what am I going to do but make myself feel better with food? And so for me, that was how I worked with my pain as a child. And it was the most profound journey, because it literally gave me all that I have today. As a young boy, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to belong. So I became a football player. That was pretty good. And I took on this identity that I needed to be big, that I needed to be strong. To do that, you got to eat like 4,000 calories. So now I found the perfect mask to hide my pain. It's crazy how life works. And so for years, like 10 years of my life, I was eating 3,000, 4,000 calories. I was trying to gain weight. I was hitting the weight room, going to buffets, stuff in my face. But I had a purpose. It was a beautiful purpose, because it taught me how to be a protector. It taught me how to be strong. There was so much beauty that came from this mask of pain. But when football ended, I lost my community. I lost my sense of purpose. I lost my sense of eating. And so I entered into this depression. The woman I was dating at the time, she like left for a weekend and came back. There was like food wrappers all around me. And I was just like playing video games. Like, I was just fucking sad. And then that time, I knew things were crazy. I found CrossFit, and I found a community again, and I found fitness, and my healing journey began. So this is a few years into CrossFit on the right, and this is a few years later after I opened up a gym. But my journey began from the outside. the workouts, the food. I did it all. I freaking have done it all to lose the weight, get my health back. And still there was a point that like I couldn't break through, and it was all energetic. It was all internal. Like I had done all the outside things to bring correction to my health, but it was the internal thing. I went so deep in my fitness journey that I opened up a gym. I trained like thousands of people. That's where I started like coaching individuals and was able to like support the way I support you guys through those people that were coming in for help. We had a beautiful community. And it was around this time where I found plant medicine. And there was plant medicine that really like helped me heal all this energy. I found mushrooms. This is literally a photo outside of my gym. And I'm like, I would tell my members, like, guys, I've been fucking lying to you. Like, there's different things that we can do to lose weight from the inside out. So I started hosting this mushroom ceremonies at my house, started hanging out with folks that would give me some gambo, got connected with cannabis, and my healing journey began. I dropped the identity of this football player. I started healing. I started on, because even after football, I was like so strong. So I would like lift a bunch of weights. So dudes were like, bro, you rock, you know, to be accepted. And, oh shit. And so I went so deep in the fitness journey. I like became, like I was supporting like super high end, like coaches in the fitness space. I was doing conferences, talks. It was the shit, you know, that's how deep I went into the fitness space. But really it's like all these things and why I share this with you guys, because everything that we are given in life is perfect for a reason. It's for our soul to remember its purpose. And so I know this conversation is about food, but, it has led me in a beautiful path of healing, and my own healing now has expanded to like thousands of people, you know, and for me, it's been a beautiful journey to redefine the relationship I have with myself and all of my relationships. So for all of you that are going to the sweat lodge tonight, we're going to talk about that concept of for ourselves and for all of our relationships. And today we're here to talk about our relationship with food. How am I doing with time? Cool. I'm doing great. So you heard a little bit about my story with food, my pain around food. I want you guys to take about 5 to 7 minutes. We'll see how we're flowing with time. And I want you to answer these questions. What did you learn about food growing up? How did you relate to food? How do you relate to food today? What would it look like to have a sacred relationship with food? So I want you guys to journal this out for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to go into connecting with food with some presence today. As you wrap up your journal entry, your brief journal entry, I know there's probably a lot to unpack with this, but hopefully this could start the thread. Food energetically does a lot for us. It provides our energy, our nutrients, everything for us to express our soul's expression on this 3D world. And so if things are coming up for you from what you started writing and maybe you started to uncover a few things, like understand how deep the work that the healing work can be is like goes down to not just what we were taught as children. It goes deeper than that. Like our lineage, where we come from, our ancestors, it goes much, much deeper than that. So when we start looking at our food in that way, it can be really, really profound. I'd love to hear from like 2-3 people who maybe haven't taken the time to like look to the relationship to food, and maybe were a bit impacted by this journal entry to share. 2 to 3 people, if you guys can make it brief too. Can somebody get Kirk a mic, please?
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story, because I connected wholeheartedly to that. Growing up, food was always a way away from my mom to show love to everybody and feel purposeful. So seeing how I associate with food and how it's very like still feeling the emotions from it, just moving throughout my body. just feels very comforting, and turning to food allows me to suppress emotions that have to be felt or need to be surfaced. And I've been in the practice of trying to like slow myself down, kind of like we have this conversation about visioning where it's coming from, and just being grateful for all the hands it had to exchange to get to our plate. So energetically, that connection to food has been changing, but just all the energy flowing through just this exercise and your share, and how it connected so deeply on a very deep emotional level. I just felt my nervous system kind of trigger something. The whole mask, like just being so athletic growing up, and really associating that with, I never even saw going into sports so intensely with the intention of putting on a mask and hiding who we are to express ourselves through that. And, you know, having that Awaken and everything. Yeah, it was very, very powerful and big release. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing, brother. Thank you. Danny.
I learned that overeating was the norm. I learned that there was never too much food. I learned that food equals guilt, because if I ever didn't want to eat it, or I ever got too thin, I was letting someone down, and I was given more food. It was never about nourishment. It was about staying full out of fear that one wasn't full enough. Fear that maybe there wasn't enough food. Today, food confuses me. It represents struggle. It represents not knowing the answer. It represents always second-guessing myself, always looking for the answer outside of myself. It represents not having inner peace. And a sacred relationship with food would mirror back that I am enough, and that I have the answers within, that I know that I am complete, and that I am safe. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Danny.
Food. What did you learn as food as a growing up? I didn't have a role model to tell me about food. Food was whatever was in the cupboards. So growing up with an alcoholic mother, there wasn't sometimes a lot of food in the cupboard, so we'd eat whatever was there. And my grandmother was such a great woman. She would hide money all over my room. And when mom wasn't around, she'd tell me where to go into the sock drawer and get food, get money or whatever. And then I learned I could just start looking through the Bible and looking through the books and find money. And it was great. It was like Christmas, you know? So I started looking through my sock drawers. And I'm like, and she'd tell me to go. I'm like, no, I found that a long time ago, Grandma. She said, so she'd have to be more inventive about hiding money. So I made sure I had food. But I didn't have any role models per se to teach you about food. But I can tell you my highest weight was 460 pounds. So I'm sitting about 242 right now, and I feel really good. But I don't have those. How do you feel relate food today? I use this as energy. I don't really eat a lot of nonsense food. I don't. I shouldn't say that. I eat some nonsense food, but I just really, I really try to keep myself around 1,200 calories a day and try to keep myself in a where there's, and I don't have the relationship I think with food that I did before, just because I don't want to be in that unhealthy person. I don't want to be that person. I was like you, and I resonated with your story. I came in a little bit late, but I played football, I wrestled, I did all those things. And when you're a big guy and you play tackle, it was good. You know, nobody gave you a hard time, and nobody wanted to get beat up either. So I mean, it was a good correlation, but when you have a hard time getting rid of it, or you have a more of a time, it's more of a mindset I think you have to do, and you have to just shed it. And I think the same thing with my alcoholism is, I shedded the alcoholism the same way too. It's you have to go through these barriers, but I truly believe that if we didn't do what we did, we wouldn't be the people we are today. So again, as I think things happen for a reason, is when we go through things and it makes you who you are. It's the blueprint of the stamp of the passageway that we go through is who it made us today. I think if I was this skinny little kid and I had great parents and everything else like that, I have no idea who I'd be today. So I don't regret it. I wish I would have had all the weight issues I did there, but thank God I didn't have a lot of medical issues with it too. So When you look at my relationship with food today, it's completely different. It's like I just went and got some cheese because I was hungry, so I got a little square thing of cheese today. But that'll satisfy me enough to take it and a handful of nuts. So I do feel that I have a different, completely relationship today with food than I did growing up until I was in my 50s. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You know, I was overweight when I was in high school, and it was just, you know, being overweight and then losing a lot of weight quickly and back and forth. And I realized now my father was a child in the Holocaust, and he was in hiding for like 5 years and didn't have food. So we always had an overabundance of food in the house. And he would always, like, the table, it would be 4 of us, and the table was full of food for like 8 or 9 people. And he was always like, eat, what are you waiting for? Eat, eat, eat. And he's like pushing it on me. And then I would always feel guilty, you know, not eating the food that he was putting in front of me. So it's interesting. I haven't really thought about that at all.
Yeah, but that drives a lot. You know, it's what keeps us alive. And if our relationship to what keeps us alive is guilt, and we're consuming with that energy of guilt, it's like we're feeding our own guilt in a way.
Right.
And so today's exercise that we'll do here with the snacks we gotcha is to bring sacredness into food. When I started seeing myself as a divine like creature, life started mirroring that back. When we start looking at our food as sacred, it's going to mirror that back to us, and it's going to continue feeding the sacredness. Right. Rather feed the sacredness than the guilt. So that's the intention of today. So hopefully,
well, now I have a very good relationship with food.
Well, let's make it sacred, not good. Okay. Sacred is like, to me, it's, you know, a lot of reverence, a lot of honor, right. And because this is the thing that's keeping us alive, right? So if this is the relationship that helped me lose 100 pounds, to find love with my pain of food, and change my relationship to it. And so that's the intention of where we're going next, is to make our connection to food sacred. And it happens with presence and intent. And so we're going to take some moment now to connect with food. And, you know, for me, ask my wife, she knows I love sweets. But when you make ice cream sacred, instead of like shame and guilt, it's just a whole different energy. And so we're going to take some time today to connect with this simple items in front of you, to connect with presence, to connect with love with this food. And like me putting this together for you guys, like every time we're teaching something, we're really teaching it for ourselves. I'm a big believer of that. Like, I'm like eating differently. The dinner I had last night, I was like eating slower, breathing. I caught myself like eating super fast. I'm like, whoa, wait a moment, like breathe, connect. And so, yeah, just me putting this together, like I feel the shift, and I really want you guys to experience this, you know, at least for the container that we have, for the following meals that you have, connect with it with presence, connect with it with intention. And so for me, when I share love energetically, I stay in an open position, and I connect to my heart, and I'm looking at whatever I'm looking, I'm allowing the energy to flow from my heart and visualizing it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to face our little plates. I want you guys to uncross your legs if they're crossed, and I want you guys to plant your feet on the ground, nice and firm. Feet on the ground. Open up the hands right next to your plate, and just look at the snacks in front of you. And by the way, what we're doing now, you could apply to anything in life. We're just happen doing it with food at the moment. And as you're looking at the 4 little items there, we have cacao, we have seaweed, we have a little mango, and a little cracker. Now, I want you to visualize this food and its process. Let's think about the cacao. Let's think about the mango. Think about the seeds being planted. Think about that little seedling sprouting and growing and Mother Earth receiving its roots, and Father Sky bringing its rain into the seeds, into the soil. And then slowly the plants grow, and with time they mature, and with time we get fruits. And with those fruits, somebody comes and collects that, and they process it, and it gets moved into a grocery store where I went and picked that up and brought it here to your plate. And now think about the seaweed. Think about the cracker, the flowers, everything that goes into bringing these very simple items in front of you. And as you continue connecting with your food, allow this heart connection to happen and radiate this energy into the food that you're about to sample. And we're going to kick things off with the seaweed. And so how we're going to connect with food, it's very simple. We're going to take a nice deep breath before we connect with the food and let it out. And then you're going to grab the seaweed and touch it. Look at it. Connect with it. And whenever you're ready, you're going to enjoy the seaweed nice and slow. Take your time. As you're chewing it, breathe. Bring that sacredness into it nice and slow. And notice yourself when you put this presence to food. Notice how it tastes. Notice how it feels. Notice how it makes you feel when you connect and relate to food in this way. Notice how the saliva connecting with the elements of the food. Notice what it's doing there for you. Think about everything that had to happen to get this piece of seaweed in your mouth. All the miracles that had to happen. For the next food connection that we're going to have, we're going to get to experience a very, very cool mechanism of the body. We're going to get to connect with one of our enzymes. It's an enzyme that breaks starches in your mouth. And we're going to work with a cracker next. It's not gluten-free, so letting you guys know. With the cracker, you have this enzyme called amylase that is going to be breaking down the saltiness, and you're going to start tasting you should taste some sweetness. If not, maybe you're missing some amylase. So what we're going to do is once again, take a nice deep breath and let it out. Pick up that little cracker. And now I want you to remember like those times in life when you're like starving and you wish you had this little cracker. That might be you right now. And we're going to get to experience the brilliance, the intelligence of our human design. And so take the cracker in, and the goal is to chew it without swallowing it, and notice how the sweetness starts to kick in. So whenever you're ready, give that a go. And chew on it. The digestion process begins through the nose. When you start smelling it, saliva kicks in. Right now, we're probably feeding our parasites, but in 30 days, we'll be a different story. And just notice how the texture changes from hard to soft, to a doughy texture, maybe a little sweetness to it. And notice the brilliance that God gave us literally with every bite that we take. And I would recommend drinking some water after that one for our next little tasting. For the next one, it's a connection to the heart, a connection to our mother, Mother Earth, cacao. The little cacao nibs we have there. Cacao is a beautiful medicine. In this part of the world, in some point, it was our currency. It was money for us. And so we're going to get to connect with it. It's the active ingredient is theobromine. It makes your blood vessels a little bit more porous. It's heart medicine. And so same thing that we did. Presence, feet on the ground, connect with your plate. And now we have little tiny things. It's your choice if you want to eat 5 of them, 3 of them, 1 of them, take them all, put them in your mouth, and just connect with it. And whatever you decide, however you decide to eat it, it's perfect. And whenever you're ready, start connecting with the cacao, feel its texture, feel the crunch with this beautiful heart medicine. And if you find yourself going away from this connection to the food and thinking about the sweat lodge, what am I going to do tonight? Come back to presence. Notice the taste, notice the texture, notice how it makes you feel. Did you consume it all? Did you have one little piece? And then lastly, we're going to connect to the sweetness of life. Food tells us a lot about cultures, about the world. One of my favorite things is to travel and eat their food. Food is beautiful. And it's super cool that, we can identify like the sweetness of life with a mango. We can't really do that, with real life. Sometimes we get in experiences that are not so sweet, but with food, for more times than not, we know a mango is going to be sweet. And so this is to connect with the sweetness of life, the enjoy of life, the feminine of life is what the mango is representing. And so for our last final little tasting, connecting with food with intention and sacredness, put your feet on the ground, take a nice deep breath in, and let it out. And whenever you're ready, pick up that dehydrated piece of mango, connect with it, and when you're ready, eat your mango. And just notice now that we're our final little snack, how does the sweetness taste compared to all the other stuff? Notice how it makes you feel. Notice the stories that are coming up about it. And for me, this has been one of the secrets that has helped me lose over 100 pounds. Intention, sacredness. It wasn't the burpees. It wasn't the keto diet. It wasn't the intermittent fasting. It was to slow down and be present with what is. Let's go ahead and take one more deep breath and let it out. All right, my friends. So, which ties to the next conversation. This is what keeps us alive. And at some point we will die. And this food that we're taking in, the energy, the frequency, the chemistry of it, affects our experience now. And it really becomes a mirror of what life is. The food that we consume, that I've experienced that. I ate a bunch, became a football player. I went through my journey with it. And so you guys are in Mexico right now at a very beautiful time. It's the food that we eat keeps us alive, and then we have this thing called death that I 100% guarantee you it will happen to you guys. If not, your money back. And you guys came to Mexico at a very sacred time where Day of the Dead is right around the corner. And I just want to connect the themes. We have an altar outside with food because life is life. Death is sacred. Life is sacred. And so in the Day of the Dead tradition is, it's a mixture of Aztec, Mayan, Spanish, like all blended into what it is now. A lot of the native traditions of Mexico say Day of the Dead begins I think September 28th, they say, all the way till November 2nd. And what that means is there's a portal that's open for our relatives to come and visit us. Who's watched the movie Coco here? Awesome. So you guys get it. We have this flowers called marigold, and they have a beautiful essence that attracts the dead, is how the story goes. Around this time, the monarch butterflies start coming in, which is believed that's like the souls of our relatives are coming in through that portal. And what I love about our culture is that death is not the end, it's just a transition of this physical plane. And I just had a loss of like a mom to me. And I was so excited for her passing because before she was in her physical body, her soul was in the physical body, her chair, and I could only visit her every once in a while. She's right here right now. She's right here right now because I'm talking about her, because she lives through me. And so the same way that we can have reverence for our food, we can have reverence for death. And when we have reverence for death, we can fucking live so alive in this 3D plane. And so what we do to honor our ancestors, there's a saying that we die 3 times. When we stop breathing, when they put us under or burn us, whatever. And when they stop talking about us, when they forget us, that's the 3rd death. So what I want to invite you guys to do is we'll go outside and I'll give you guys a little bit more connection of what it means. But essentially, this is a portal. Like, do you feel your past ones right now a little bit more? They're very alive. So we're going to take some time just to observe the altar, observe the meaning of the lights, the candles are to sustain the souls when they do come through. So at some point between now and the end of this intensive, I'd love for you guys, if you don't have a photo, you could even just pull on your phone or whatever, maybe we can print one out and sit in front and talk to your past, your relatives. Remember them. Don't let them go. They're alive as long as you keep talking about them. I know Danny's mom. She's alive in me. She even was in the business with him selling houses. You know what I mean? Like I've never met her, but she's like alive with me in like some way, shape, or form. And I know she's very alive in him. And that's the same thing for everybody who has experienced a loss. And so, we'll do that. We'll connect, take maybe 10 minutes, go out there as a group just to like honor everybody's loved ones. Will come back in, but at some point go by yourself and connect with your relatives. And this is your opportunity to keep them alive because they're not gone. They're just transitioned from this physical plane. Cool? So let's go outside, just take some moments. We'll come back in and wrap it up. Oh, yeah. And another thing, we bring offerings of water, bread. If you know your relative's favorite food, bring some to them because their food was also sacred. And so look at all of our loved ones that touched our life, that shaped who we are today. And what a beautiful way to show how much we love them. By remembering them, by talking about them.
My dad and my father-in-law. Thanks, Dad. Through the passing of my father-in-law, we got to experience grief in a completely different way. Thanks to the work that we started for ourselves and we showed our boys and how much love there is in grief. I think the world's so quick to hurry us through grief because they think it's holding on to sadness, but we're actually just holding on to love. And it's so unusual to share or say that one of my most favorite moments of my life is the day my dad passed. 11/11 was the time of passing, and I got to feel when his body left his earth, or when his soul left his earth. I had my hand on his heart, and getting to experience that with him. He brought me into this world. I got to be with him when he got to leave this world. So, yeah, it's really special.
Thank you, brother. Just about 2 weeks ago, I went to take care of my aunt who was passing slowly. Her organs were shutting down, and it was just so beautiful to like be next to her and like talk to her soul and ask her soul, like, do what's best for you. Like, if you want to go, but it was like that internal knowing that I know she wasn't gone. It was just her physical representation was gone. And so there's a beautiful, beautiful tradition that, by the way, thank you guys for coming to my country. Like, it means a lot. That you guys can adopt. We did it when Ida's father passed, like our first little like thing that we did. And it was like really beautiful to sit and chat with our ancestors, like drink a little mezcal with them, hang out with them, tell stories. And that's how we keep them alive. We'd love to hear any shares from the folks that are in the room right now about the food, and then pass it to Letty afterwards, and we'll wrap it up here in probably 6 minutes.
I have family members that are Mexican and they do it, but I never quite understood it until my father passed. And I just realized that today's the 23rd. And he passed on December 23rd. And the holidays have been different, but I always think like I'm over it. Like, not over it in the sense that I'm tired of it, but I thought I did the work for the grief. And when you were saying about going over there, I just felt his presence. And I guess that's what it is. Like, sometimes I don't talk about him. And you made me realize that that's also another way of letting him die. So I'm going to be more proactive about having him more around. So thank you.
Daniel, I just want to say thank you for this food practice, exercise that we did. I was overcome with great emotion when I picked up the seaweed. I I just allowed for whatever was happening. And as you had us chew the food and taste the texture and smell and all of that, it's like decades of my life. I realized how fast I've been living. And then I had a great grief, realizing how much I've missed out on in life, while simultaneously realizing how beautiful and rich this life is, where I've normally just been so busy trying to get to the next place because I've been in survival and the stories in my head and the loops. And just a simple exercise of slowing down and being intentional with food brought so much grief and so much healing and medicine in just a simple exercise. So it changed me. Thank you.
Thank you. Todo es medicina. Everything is medicine. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys heard the common theme that everybody's talking about, slowing down. And yeah, for me, I used to like live very like fast paced. I tattooed tranquilo, which means tranquility, like slow the fuck down. When we move fast, when we're rushing, we miss the beautiful things. Like, you know, have you had like dried mango before? And did all that come through in the past? Like, but like all that story, all that memory, did it come through? Like, you know, I know it did now, but in the past, when you would eat mango, did that memory come back? So it's like by slowing down, by being present, look what it brings. Such a beautiful like connection, such a beautiful memory. So like think about how much we're missing in life because we gotta like do all of this shit that we gotta do. So I just want to like invite you guys to slow down in everything that you do. What's the rush? I already told you where we're all going. We're all going to die. So what's the rush? Enjoy yourself. Enjoy life. We're here to experience the beauty. We are on heaven. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for crying with me. Thank you for eating the snacks with me.